All right. Again, thank you everyone so much for joining us today. This is the third in our three-part series, Measuring Love in the Journey to End Sexual and Intimate Partner Violence. Today, we're going to be talking about lies and lies we tell. A little bit about Prevent Connect. Prevent Connect is a national project of Valor US, sponsored by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The views and information provided in this web conference do not necessarily represent the official views of the U.S. government, CDC, or Valor. So with that, I am going to, Ashley, can you move slides for me, please? Thank you. I am going to pass it off to our incredible guest presenters, Audrey Jordan and Cherie Tang. Audrey and Cherie have been leading us through this series, and it has been transformational to a lot of us who have been here. So Audrey, Cherie, thank you so much for being here. We're really excited to have you, and I will officially pass it off to you. Cherie, you are muted.
Thank you, Janae. Thank you, Ashley. And I'm always in awe of my partner, Audrey. I learned so much in community with Audrey. So this is these two brown papers, Measuring Love and Healing Love, are our attempt to really spread what we've come to realize is one of the most important critical work that we in the movement to end sexual violence can do, is to radically love on ourselves and each other. We've already asked you your name and place you're zooming in from. And I'm really excited. You're like coming from all over this country. That's very exciting. What is the toughest part of what you do? What is the toughest part of what you do? And if the toughest part of what you do is the grievance, what is the blessing? So I just want to take 30 seconds for you to reflect on that and then put that in chat for us, if you would. What is the toughest part of what you do every day? If that is the grievance, then what is the blessing? It's not an easy question. And I would say the toughest part of what I do, and Audrey, I'm going to bounce it to you to also reflect. The toughest part of what I do is to stay present and authentic and having the courage to speak the truth with all of my client work. I'm a full-time independent consultant. And embedded in that, the blessing is I get to do what I do. I get to work with all these amazing clients all over the country. And I get to feel their pain and help them reflect on their choices. Audrey, what would you say?
I think Cherie, and hello everyone. I'm really glad to be here today, and so happy to be working with my beautiful, wise partner, Cherie, again. The toughest part for me day to day is resisting the rage of just having to deal with the DEI backlash, the white grievance. That's tough. Sometimes the blessing in that though is when I go there to that sunken place, I am reminded that we've been here before so many times throughout history. And those folks who preceded us stood up, fought back, and made sure we got here.
Mm,
And that is the blessing to remember that and to inhabit that,
mm,
or to work to inhabit it.
mm, Thank you, sister. Amanda said invoices is the toughest thing, right? And the blessing is learning new skills. Sarah said toughest, knowing that policies of people in power will continue to harm people. And the blessing is that in that is knowing that the people will always work together and community care will continue to support us. Wow. Gwen said, toughest part is trying to address oppression in an organization that won't even allow me to say the words. Ooh, the blessing being that I have this opportunity to engage with people I wouldn't normally, and I can try to engage in systems change. Yes. Janae said, toughest is balancing being willing and able, challenge and call in while working in structures that don't always align with the values our movement tries to embody. Yes. And Gwen, the toughest part is seeing all the blatant oppression going on that contribute to and cause the violence and pain of our people. The blessing, knowing we can do something about it and contributing to the healing of the world. Yes. The toughest from Jessica is knowing that the students I educate experience sexual violence. And the blessing in that, Jessica? Mark from Massachusetts, dismantling white supremacy culture while swimming in the culture always. The joy is being with amazing people to try to meet this challenge. Exactly. And the blessing is being able to constantly learn from others and challenge myself to grow every day. Thank you, you all. In every toughest part of what we are and what we face, there is a blessing. I want us to always remember that, and to remember that we have choice that we'll talk about today. So thank you for weighing in. We dedicate our sessions to the babies who are here, the babies who will be born, and that their lives matter. And Black lives, especially Black lives matter. When Black lives matter, all of our lives will matter truly. And there's a time when humanity is called to shift to a new level of consciousness. That time is now. The time is today. That time is now. And we always have the choice to make the time for things that matter, right? We always have the choice to make time for things that matter to us and in healing this world. And I think Bell Hooks is the grandmother, right, of this practice. The practice of love is the most powerful antidote to the politics of domination. So I want to ground us today, before I turn it over to my sister Audrey, that when we wrote the first brown paper, right, we are offering these 4 domains of self-love, loving others, love as a community practice, and the aspiration that we always fuse love with power, that we always fuse power that we do have, all of us have it, with love. That power and love are never apart. So these are the 4 kind of large domains in the first brown paper. And we posit some dimensions. Ooh, weird. The orange did not kind of matching, but that's okay. You get the point. In self-love and loving ourselves, right? It's not about self-soothing. Self-soothing is great and we all need it, but recognize that self-soothing is short-term. It's pleasure-oriented in our dopamine system. And when we say self-love, radically love for ourselves, we are actually hoping, right, to trigger the serotonin in our system, which is longer term. And what do we mean by that? Is that conscious of how we're in integrity with our own values. Who are we? Who do we say we are? And are we that when nobody's looking? It's not performative. Second is the critical analysis of our own thoughts and behaviors, right? Not critical in the sense that, oh, that's wrong, oh, that's bad. No, critical meanings reflective, that we can stand on the balcony of our own dance floor and see ourselves and see how we are dancing or not dancing. Third, that care for ourselves is a revolutionary act of resistance in a society that just wants us to grind and grind and grind till we are nothing, till we are exhausted and we don't know left from right, up or down. We are exhausted. We have no place, no space to dream a more radically fulfilling future. So caring for ourselves in that environment are revolutionary acts of resistance, right? We learned that from Audre Lorde and so many others before us. The second is when we love others. When I love you, when you show love for me, are we deeply listening? How deeply are we listening? Are we listening to rehearse what we're going to say? Are we listening to connect your story to mine so I can tell you my story? Or am I really being present in your story to really hear you, to feel you with compassion and understanding, right? And when you have ouched me, right, is there forgiveness? Is there a chance to do over? And I don't mean you want me to go away, you want you wish me evil. I don't mean that kind of forgiveness. I mean forgiveness between beloveds, that we're all going to the same place of liberation and freedom for all of us. Are there chances to do over when I make a mistake? And love is nothing but a verb, right? It is a practice in community. How we organize and develop each other as leaders, how we spread vision and hope as we age and spread wisdom, right? We're not just complaining about everything that hasn't worked, that's not working. Are we spreading vision and hope so we can make it together? And are we fighting for material change so that it's not just all talk, right? Where's the action in love as a community? And then lastly, we all have power, whether we accept it, embrace it, love it, use it, or not, right? There's a spectrum to owning our power. So to what extent are we owning and materializing our power in rooms where there are others, right? When rooms, there are people with power. Are we speaking? Are we representing the voices of our clients, our stakeholders, our base? Or are we silent and complicit to whatever power is happening in the room? Do we interrupt that? Do we share power with? And are we bringing power to, right? That power doesn't just sit with me. When I have power, I'm going to bring you with me. And how are we building power for collective liberation, not just mine? It's not in this is not an individual. This is an individual journey before a collective end. It is not just for me to be liberated, because I can't be liberated before you. And I would posit that you can't and won't be liberated before me. So we're in this together, right? So I just want to ground us in those 12 dimensions. And this is heavy stuff, right? This is heart work, H-E-A-R-T. And heart work is the most, I would say, take the most effort. I don't want to say it's most difficult. It takes them a lot of effort, right, to do our hard work. So what Audrey and I would like to ask of all of us are these 3 agreements: that you are present, that you lean into your courage, however you define that. And when we're done, share the what, not the who. Leave the who out of it. But share the what. What did you gain? What did you get? What did you feel? What did you take away? I hope these agreements work. If you can give me a thumbs up, some emoji. Silence is not consent, as you well know. Would love to be able to get your consent on these group agreements, right? Yay, thank you for that. Appreciate it so much. Yep. Awesome. Catalytic love is an intentional decolonizing act. I was born a colonized person in my own mother island of Hong Kong. When I came here, I was 11 years old. I didn't speak English. So loving on myself is unlearning how I have been colonized. Right? When I look in the mirror, when I was younger, I looked in the mirror, I just saw self-hate. All the things that I wasn't. In rooms that spoke English, I felt really, really dumb. Like I don't belong. Right? So loving on myself radically from the root is decolonizing all the things that I've been educated and taught how to be, what not to be. So we put these circles, right, inside one another as nesting, because we have to start with the self. If I don't radically love myself, respect myself, believe that what I want matter, what my voice matters, that I do have power, none of this is going anywhere. So it has to start with a very radical decolonizing love for myself in order to show up for you, my other. And for us together to practice love in community, right? In your organization, in your families, in your neighborhood, in the movement to end violence. And in all the rooms with power, we got to be there with our power. Because when I speak in rooms where I'm shaking, I know everything that I am about rises with me. Real self-love is calling yourself out on all your shit to grow and change, right? That's why it's hard. That is why it's hard, because it requires us to be ruthlessly and easefully honest. We have, because we are the only one that knows all of our light and dark. So here's another, so grounding that. And boundaries. Last time we did a whole session on boundaries, because boundaries are the membranes of our being. Every being on this planet has membrane, right? Even amoeba has a membrane. Without the membrane, the amoeba will be a goop, will be nothing. So where are boundaries? From where I love myself and respect myself, and I love you. So boundaries are important. So I'm just recapping where we've been, and then Audrey's going to take us onto where we're going. So think about this, right? And put it in chat if you're willing. We would love it if you do, so that we can shape some collective wisdom. What actions, what behaviors, will help me keep my boundaries radical and self-loving? What's going to help you do that? So that you have the healthiest, most radically self-loving boundaries. What is one thing or two things that you need from yourself? These are all things that you can do. Maybe some days more willing, some days more able, but these are all things, right, to keep our boundaries healthy, radical, and self-loving. I want to invite you to ruminate on that and put it in chat anytime you are ready. All right, Audrey, I'm going to turn to you for the next segment.
Wow. Cherie, thank you for that opening. It really opened up the space I felt myself, and I hope our participants felt, to just lean into what this framework is inviting us to do. Starting with the love of self and what that really means, not, and we're not putting down the